what your choices have been, and what karmic timelines and contracts you have journeyed. The light is calling for the reunification of all aspects of life in this realm now. It is calling for the cleansing of all polarities. It is calling for the rising of all sacred heart centers now. All are being summoned home to the greater light now.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Whole Soul Mastery and Whole Soul School and Foundation's joint podcast today, where we are talking again with Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker about her amazing 8 steps to spiritual and earthly riches. My name is Marie Moeller, and I'm an author, intuitive, and messenger of our powerful journeys that we engage to live our whole soul mastery, our experience of wholeness, and the greatness of authentic self-expression. And I want to welcome you, Dr. Terry, to our podcast today, where we're going to delve deeper into the 8th step of your 8 steps to spiritual and earthly riches. So thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Wonderful. And I love your introduction of your purpose, because it's mine as well. And I would say anyone listening, you know, as Marie spoke and talked about her mission and purpose, you could take that for yourself, for your own. It's so beautiful, so perfect in that. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
When you,
we
claim it.
Want that. Claim it. We all want that integration, that feeling of wholeness instead of the separateness that this matrix, this realm seems to instill in our consciousness from our earliest.
Well, you have to have some separateness, because we have individuality, or else you have oneness. The problem with oneness is sameness and no difference. That's not true. We all, every one of us, there's a teaching that says you're not special. Everyone's special. When you realize that every beautiful spirit soul, one of us, is absolutely special. And then little boys, little girls. And an interesting thing, in the Vedic teachings, which I love, they're so wonderful because they've expanded so much, because they're original sources of a lot of metaphysics and other spiritual teachings. And it's still, a lot is very much intact through Sanskrit. But every little girl who's born is the goddess of fortune. So why is it? I have one student who's in that country, a little girl is not considered a human except after 10 days, so they can kill her. They can murder her so that they get a little boy, you see, because they then live at that. So what happens is they've just killed the goddess of fortune. And because of it's perversion is always opposite. You see, perversion is switchcraft. It reverses everything, and it creates a system of birth and death, which is not natural for us. And so, so those 8 steps then for our spiritual and earthly riches. The one today is about increasing our earthly riches and our spiritual riches, and how we do that. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. It's so powerful when not everybody does have the bandwidth or capacity to look at the darkness on our planet, but you as a teacher, Terry, you've been seeing it and waking up to it and exploring it for decades. So a lot of people would say, well, I wouldn't want to explore the depth of the darkness, but in doing so the way you have done it, you've also accessed the greatest light. You have the capacity for both, right?
Well, because you have to see that, and this world, dark and light, are basically just 2 sides of the same coin. But the light we emanate, you got to get this one. The light you emanate is the same light that produces this false light, which is the mental realm. You come from the divine realm, so your light isn't like light and dark. Here, you're. I've seen mine when I was doing Robert Monroe's trainings in Virginia many years ago, and I was in my little cubbyhole, my little room where you listen in your bed. You listen to these earphones, these hemi-sync, and those kind of things. So anyway, all of a sudden I saw the whole room fill with my light and it's my favorite color. It's like a light coral color.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. So your own emanation, and that emanation, let's call it's consciousness, but yet it's a warmth, it's a feeling. It is just like metaphysics is about structure. It's a study of abstract objects like a car or whatever without feelings. Except one of the things people need to realize, the car knows it's a car. The lamp knows it's a lamp. Not that it's making plans to take over the world. You know, it could. I don't know what they're doing. That's why we're taking over our own. Make sure, because if we don't, somebody else will and has been. Yeah.
Yes, it's claiming your own temple. It's claiming your own essence. Because if you're saying another person that I studied with years ago talked about the sovereignty of your chakras and zipping those up so that energy is just for you. Not that you don't share it in the world, but she said if you're leaking your energy and you're not using that energy, somebody else is. Something else is using it. And they do it also with your suffering. They don't realize the energy that are being used to take our energies are to keep us, who are we're the energy of the energetic. We're the Shakti of the Shiva. And it's actually, when you look at what I'm coining advanced metaphysics, because I've added the Vedic knowledge and teachings, which is basically the foundation of most all of it going on, but going more in depth and wanting more of how the mind works and how the system operates and who we are and how to take back your power and have then a beautiful life, you see. But what happens is we've been, in a sense, word controlled by a force or a programming for people to actually believe and even want to die and then not exist. But existence is our nature. And so you see all these people now, a lot of people trying to commit suicide to get out of the trouble, but they don't realize this. That's your consciousness that produced that projection. You're basically dying from your own projection because you want another, but whatever you finish this life, your last breath, that's where you're going to take up your next breath, and awareness will be in the subtle body that is basically the pattern and the model for this particular body and this particular lifetime manifestation. So if you want to, I used to tell my daughters who, when they were going through the time of I was the wrong mother, probably, who knows, but I said, girls, since I'm the one you attracted this time, I suggest if you want a better mother next time, you work on yourselves. I know there's some parents who can relate to that.
Thank you. I had the best voice teacher, the maestro.
Yes,
it was a wonderful man, and he would say things like, "What was it? That actress, her daughter wrote Mommy Dearest," and he would stick up for Joan Crawford, the actress. She had no business having children. She was an actress. She was a star. Like. But anyway, he would just say things like that. This is pretty good. Anyway, back to this.
But it's all about the consciousness, and in the consciousness, it's all about the feelings. That's what feelings. You have done such a good job in all of these steps, teaching me and teaching the people who listen to these podcasts, but also in many of your books. I'm sure it's through all of them, because this world gets, look at from the earliest days in school, they orient you to the test. They orient you to to the bell curve, and some kids are going to succeed and some kids won't, and it's all mental. They put you into that.
Well,
mental
they're competing.
framework.
They're competing already against another person to make you believe in scarcity, so that you're going to beat up your friend over a pair of tennis shoes at a Walmart. Really? Really? Better to go to a vintage store. You get better pair of shoes, honey.
Right.
Oh,
and
my.
Let's talk about that, because there's so much to talk about this, because this is a culmination. This is like bringing together a lot of what we've talked about. But
that's right.
You've mentioned in, I think, the Relentless Enthusiasm podcast, step number 7, you mentioned ahimsa then, I believe. And
yes.
You and I were talking about it before we started this conversation now. Can you describe what ahimsa is? Because it's the contrast, right? It's the true essence,
there's
absolute.
There's one law. If you think of truly, if there's only one rule. So you see, everybody, they make all these rules. You've got libraries, and so they're called lie. They're called because they're lies. You have computers full of information, full of stories, full of this blah, 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 on and on. But wait a minute, where are you? What can you count on? What's the absolute truth right there where you could feed your family? What is right there that you could feel good and not be abused? What is happening right there when you could actually go into realms of the soul that are eternal and really step into your power, your sweetness, your beauty, your love, the joy of being? And you might say, yeah, but all the stuff going on in the world, all that stuff. Yes, those are projections. Yes, and experience is real. Yeah, and it's real, it's terrible, and it's horrible, all stuff. But what it's done for the suffering. And unless you actually focus and take that time and the energy to find out who you are, when you leave your body, you will reincarnate with your predominant thoughts of this life. And if you've gone into trauma you haven't dealt with, and all of this is it. Then this produces this kind of a realm, a world where you have blood is your main product, killing, wars, diseases, experiments on animals, all these little rabbits and all of those. Oh, well, they don't matter. What do you mean? They have children, they have families, cows. I mean, I took care of Brahma bulls and cows. They love their children. They're sweet. They, they feed the mother cow doesn't drink her own milk, and then people will put down milk. Well, because they've destroyed it. They've done all of these. Everything good has now become bad. Just like even mother. It's even like if I call myself I said this in front of some. I'm a spiritual mother, but I love my children, and I love your children. Your children are my children. And I have lived in every kind of culture, all different colors of people, different religions, different background. There's a common thing, because I would talk. Mothers love their children. And there's some, horrible, mean, and because they've had that programming themselves. But basically, we've been turned away. We're embarrassed to say we're a mother. Where it says my career is a mother. Oh, really? You don't have something better? What could be better? What could be better? And see, we're the magic. People don't get that. The female, the feminine, is the magic. It's like when the earth is the magic. You plant a seed in the ground, and you take care of it and nurture it. You're going to get food. You're going to get an apple tree. You're going to get a walnut tree. You see, what is the basic thing we need here? Oxygen. If you're thinking all day, you have no oxygen for your meditation. You just have to go to sleep because it's not there. You used it up.
Wow.
Fighting, thinking, judging, envy, jealousy, gossip, consumed with ball players and actors and actresses and singers and all these people that are working on getting money from songs that are not inspiring. Where's the love? Where's God? Where's divine? Where's beauty? Oh, well, we don't have that now. We've changed. Well, that's too bad for you. I do. Yeah. It's the way it is. And we are the magic, and everything goes backwards to be even embarrassed about that. And what is a mother? And I look at my great-grandmother, what a mother she was. She was there always. But then again, I got trained as a mother to do it all for my children. That's not right. That's how they got to be the way they are, thinking we owe it to them when they needed to learn how to do it. They needed to learn how to go out and dig a hole and plant food.
Right. Wow.
I know.
It's so incredible, the gifts we all have, and we speak, from a feminine perspective because we are mothers. Right. We are women.
That's right.
And
that's right.
So right.
I can't help that. I love it. I happen to have white skin. Big deal. Doodly doo. In past lifetimes, I've been all kinds of colors and all kinds of places, because I remember. Oh yeah.
Right. I know. We didn't go through that veil of forgetfulness. We remember, and we know there's nothing that can divide us because we've been all of it. We've been it all.
And we have compassion because we've been there. See, when someone works with us, we don't be embarrassed. I remember when I first started counseling people, and it still happens, most of the people had no idea anybody else went through that. And the women would say, there aren't any good men out there. And the men would say, there aren't any good women out there. I said, God, I should go on to a dating thing or however it was or whatever it was. But it's like, what do you mean? The goodness has to be within us. And plus, here's the thing. There's a tendency for us as a people pleaser to hook up with a what would you call it? Don't call them chauvinist, male or female, but a narcissist. And a narcissist has to have continual acknowledgement how beautiful they are, how wonderful they are. They have to have it all the time because they're about their body. They're about that. And then a people pleaser like us, and there's nothing wrong with being a people pleaser. Don't put it down. As long as that's our job, but not when it's dangerous or bad for you. No.
Right.
It's we want to have people be happy, but not at our expense, where you beat yourself up. But you're going to get these two dynamics that are playing the game of victim, perpetrator, savior, and they'll go from one to the other, trying to have a relationship. And the people pleaser can never please because the other person can never be pleased enough. So then one says, no matter what I do, you're never happy, never pleased. And the other person says, yeah, but you never really appreciate me. I tried. I've been all blah, blah, blah. That's everybody's story. The only way you transcend that is self-realization, self-actualization as a true who you really are, but not to become like someone or something else, but to, you want to build your spiritual strength and earthly. So that's why earthly, it would be a good time, get the shoes off, get into nature as much as you can, have some quiet times, listen. And when you do your meditations and stuff, try to get silence because there's so much noise going on. There's clicking of this, electronic devices. You know how they're doing all these towers. Everything here is building webs, energy webs. And it's and they're always trying to tell you outer space is the last frontier, or the universe did this. Well, it's all in your mind. This universe is in your mind. So why would I ask the universe for directions and guidance when I'm the one projecting my own world? Why wouldn't I go to the Supreme Being? Why would I not want to acknowledge there's a Supreme Being? Because people who are impersonalists want to be God. But the job's been taken. Sorry, buddy.
Job's already filled.
I didn't see any want ad. God's wanted. I think God was doing a good job. Our problem is we have free will. And free will implies suffering. That means you can suffer all you want for as long as you want, and you can prove you're a really good person because look how much I've suffered. And someone else that says, oh, look how I haven't, and then I'm a good. No, wait a minute. You have to get control of your mind.
Terry,
and you
I
have to
have
have a teacher.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to have a teacher. You're right. That so reflects my experience when I went through my dark night of the soul. A lot of us do.
That's right.
And when
That's
I was in that place of the suffering, the sustained suffering, and I hadn't surrendered at all yet. I didn't even know what that meant. And I kept asking the question, like, how long must I suffer? That was like my prayer. How long must I suffer? And you know what my higher guidance kept saying, and my guides kept saying, I said, how long, when will the suffering end, was really the question. And they said, when you're ready. My higher self said, when you're ready. And I said, what the hell answer is that? And it took me 3.5 years of deep suffering past that point of my asking that I asked about every single day. When will the suffering end? When you're ready. And you know what? I didn't know what that meant until I was ready.
That's when you were ready. Because you weren't getting anything out of the other one. Just like this sweet little woman, I just adore her here, and she's I won't give details or anything, but the husband's on the bender. He can only stay sober about every 4 months, and then he's the mean. And now she's really working at getting her boundaries and all that. But she's like the epitome of a good soul. So problem is when you have that label you put on your I want to be good, you might have to have somebody bad in order to prove you're good, because this is relativity here. And so it was the same with the alcohol. And she had mentioned that she still had that desire for the alcohol. It was really strong. And I said, because there was some wine bottles sitting out. It was a store. It was in a store. She said that. I said, because when I used to have the alcohol problem, I had it, and I started watching it and realized give up the guilt, because the guilt was I didn't think I could have a good time at a party or what it was. So, but I prayed. I started looking at how my body smelled, how I had a hangover, the inappropriate things I would say, the fighting, everything with it. And I had to get my fill, whatever it meant. And I would marry alcoholics. Really strong alcohol, and then I had to look at. I was marrying my dad, trying to give my dad everything because I loved him. I mean, I can't help it, folks. His mom and dad. He could have been dealing with it, and it's not that there's something wrong with them. I'm not complaining, because they were actually perfect for me. Perfect. Right. Couldn't have been a better fit. Oh yeah.
But what you're saying is we journey to these deep places, and the beautiful thing is we're the one projecting into the places that we're going to experience, whether we do it consciously or not. And then we follow that portal, we follow that vibrational path we've set for ourselves, unless we wake up and realize, like the woman you also described with the drinking, and we say, well, who's the drinker? Who's the projector of that life? She is. Who was the projector of my own suffering? Me.
That's right. And there had to be something in it, because what you have to really get as a God particle, you had to agree. And even here, there is no here. People say, well, I'm not coming back here again. No, you take it with you. You take your world with you, my dear, because it's going to be your projection. But there is a real world. And that real world is a spiritual, divine world. And that world, we have all of our godlike powers, abilities. But it's not so much about, look how great I am because I have all this. All of us have that. It's what you do with what you've got. And it takes a person. Self-love to me is not me saying I love Terry, because I don't need to be the object of my affection. I am love. My pleasure comes in giving, just like you give to the cat or the dog or your children or the garden or a friend or a loved one, or you just do a good deed. And the thing about so this, how do we increase and make a beautiful world, our beautiful world? And there were two things, like with the earth, that the thing is, we need to get back in touch with Mother Earth, not to change the earth. People say, we're going to make the earth a better place. There's nothing wrong with the earth. You're projecting your world. We're the masters of the unformed. Please hear that. when we focus on objects, like they're putting, like when they put these images of people in their $82 million houses, these are monstrosities, these homes and houses. There's no love there. There's no feeling. It's like, I love the little small tiny house I have. Michael and I are so happy and together, and Lakshmi the cat, and all of you that are in my world, and I love you, and I'm working for you with Marie. I love it, and we're working together, and what's going on. I've had all of that. I've everything and anything I ever wanted. And the real thing you want is feelings, cuddling, loving, kindness, sweetness, enthusiasm. Baby, you could do it. I believe in you.
Yes.
It's who we are. And see, envy and jealousy are the worst. And the thing they have, someone said the other day, it was one of my students, he said, well, you know, women have always been competitive. That's a lie. We weren't competitive at the river. We weren't competitive when we were there protecting our children and our homes and our husbands and our wives but no, we were there sharing at the river before we got soap, before we got dyes that ruined the rivers. We have to go back to the beginning, the basics. What's basic? Oxygen. Water is hydrogen, oxygen, soil. And what are we as the woman? We are the soil. The male plants his seed, or however you get your seed. And that seed, then it grows in the garden of your body. And in that time, you want to be in music and sweetness. And before we even conceive, we would want to touch the blood type of someone we're going to conceive with, and the kind of character they have, and the kind of emotion and feeling, and make it a sacred ceremony, because your bodies are the temple of the living God and Goddess. And it's like when you really get that God, the supreme being, male, is our husband. All living entities are first female. That means not think of just woman body. That's not. It's a mood. It is a consciousness of contribution. It is a consciousness of generosity. It is a consciousness of love. It is a consciousness of life. It is a consciousness of beauty and sweetness and harmony, for singing and dancing and festivals and sharing. This is who we are. We love a party. You see? And so my political party is a prosperity and happiness party.
I join you there, Terry. And beyond.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Can you go back to that when you talked about the elements and the oxygen and the hydrogen, and the woman is the soil and the male is the seed? I hadn't thought about it that way, but of course,
it grows in
is.
And
garden.
Guess what? What does the soil need? The sun. And who is the sun? The Great Spirit. The Native Americans call them. They know it. They call the squirrel people. That's bear people over there. Up where I live, we've got grizzly bears up here. I like action.
Wow.
I know. We have mountain lions and panthers. Oh, yeah. Why not?
Oh, but all of the nature and all of creation is brimming with that life. And when you talk about that we all start as female, can you talk a little bit about that? And some people who, especially who might be listening to this, are male, gendered, and they might say, whoa, wait a minute. But the point I feel like you're making when I feel what you say versus thinking what you say, we all start as these creators. We all start as the soil.
Well, yes. Well, the soil, yes. The soil. And yes, and the soil. But what it is look at function. Form follows function. So how does this is going to be far out, folks. I know. Okay. But how does God take care of the females? Because God's pure male, but also pure female. You see, so people don't get that. They want to think it's android. No, the totality of this, that the earth needs the sun in order to grow anything, or for us even to see anything, or even anything to be here. But if the sun doesn't have the earth, there's nothing there is that because when we take a look at the male and the female are basically absolutes, and in order to take care of us, some are male to take care of the female, who is the mother, and the male is called husbandman, means keeper of the vineyards. That word means keeper of the garden, knowing what to use and how to protect and maintain. And then the female has to be a multitasker. You have to. You can bring forth those qualities, but they have different functions. That's all. And in those functions, when you do that together, my husband, God, is the supreme husband. Why should I look to anybody else? Even my sweetheart in my life does what he does, but he can't be God. The job's been taken, so stop criticizing him. Come on. I was just saying, and so the female, if you're judging women by who's got long fingernails, long hair, high heels, and fancy clothes, you ain't going to get any good cuddles, baby. Those nails are pointed as well. Watch out.
Watch out. Well, and all that you're talking to when you describe that, because that's a very different image than the women at the river who were the wombs of the earth, who were the gardens.
We're talking children, our husbands, our mothers, or the women together. It was all going on. There's nothing wrong. People were harmonious in the sense of, because see what happens when you have abundance and waste. You have lots of waste. And then people were tricked through images and desiring. See what happens if we're right here, right now, we're really happy until someone gives a suggestion of something you could have. Why don't you have some ambition? Oh, you think, oh, yeah, I got to get some ambition. Well, where do I get it? Well, what for? Well, if you want to have ambition, you got to have a divine purpose to your life because you are divine. See, but this is running around there. Get out in nature. Start to plant your garden. If you're living in a house, get a pot. You little pot, put on the windowsill. Grow something. That's going to tell you how this life works. It's going to tell you. It's going to be there. Don't see what happens when people are afraid. They fall on their back like a lobster and go They don't move. They freeze. Wait a minute. You're in charge here. And the woman is always in charge of the relationship. They know that, but you can't say these things. Well, then wake up, woman.
Right, and take your power back, which really also means take your gifts back.
But you gave them away. They didn't take them from you. You gave them.
Yes.
Don't do that because they don't know how to handle it. It's not their job. You see, we're partners.
Well, and that's
we're
part of your
creators.
Yes, we're co-creators. And I was also going to say that taking your gifts back, the ones we've given away, not from that fully connected divine essence inside you where you're, I'm just going to use that metaphor, where you're the woman at the river, where you're the soul at the river who's integrated, right? No, when we've been unbalanced and distorted, and we've been through so many lifetimes, we've given so much of ourself away because we feel like we have to. To me, it's a form of, I've used this, it's a strong term, but I've used this term as people who I've worked with in coaching sessions. Some people, it came up very strongly, they prostitute their gifts. We prostitute our gifts. We're for sale, right?
That's right.
Some people feel that, and now there's this time of reclaiming our gifts and saying, no, I'm not going to do that. And COVID, for better, for worse, whatever that whole experience has been, we'll look back at that. We'll look back at that with different eyes in a few years. But
it was just a repeat. It was just a repeat of every pandemic back through the past, who knows, thousands and thousands of years.
I know, right?
The system, they use the same system. It never changes. So if you just see, you know exactly what's going to be the next step. Because see, when a person is what would you say, not just a metaphysician only, without the source, without the divine, without the feeling of the knowing, even Ingo Swann in his books, The Secrets of Power 1 and 2, and he's a very powerful man in his abilities. He said they had discovered at least 32 extrasensory abilities that we have through our hair. That's why, cutting Samson's hair took his power, because the hair is connected to the central nervous system. That's why I have long hair, because it helps my intuition. It helps me with my work, and it's beautiful. And people say, well, honey, you're 84 with long hair. Well, I think I look gorgeous. Are you kidding?
My antennae are gorgeous. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I feel that too. I have a mane, and I'm born in August, and so I feel like we're supposed to. We're being called back to the river, but that really also means like being called back to yourself and your gifts. And we've given so much away, but not in this, not in this divine.
See, our children need to learn to give to us. See, when I was growing up, I gave to my great-grandmother. I'd go to her house, I'd scrub the floor, I washed her hair, I would put the bluing on it and make it look pretty and curl it. I would do what she needed and what she wanted. And when you came to nannies, you did work. You didn't sit on your butt and watch Netflix and your little game. Are you kidding? Go use that game and try and eat food. Where are they going to give you some? It's like you get to where, see, people play games because they're bored. Because here it's boring. It's repetitive. This isn't new. Yes. You can't have a new world because you're going to bring the old back and have that. No, you have to let the real world come forth. That means you, yourself, your real self, beyond programs and hypnotic trances. The whole thing's a hypnotic trance. Beyond all of those word programs, all of those cultural programs, to get right to the nakedness of and the beauty of the soul. Because unless you control the mind and have a teacher to help you control that mind, you can never get to soul, because the mind is based on thinking. The divine is beyond concepts. The divine and you are inconceivable, but the body, this one, is a concept. It's a copy, but it's still a perverted copy, and it's really, everything here is copy land. That's why everybody takes their selfie. You see one pattern, it's because we're patterns. Everything we do, it's in the system. And then it spits you out at when you're going to be born, because it's taken into consideration, because everything is hooked up to the reptilian brain bone at the back of your skull, taking all these electronic things and all this stuff and filling it into the master motherboards and shooting out this reality that you're believing and then projecting. You don't like this reality? Project the one you do.
Right. Project the one you do. These are the riches. Earthly riches are the natural experience, if you will, from uncovering the spiritual riches. Right? That's right. You have to become that which you want to have. You have to be it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Do the thing and the power is yours. Don't do it. You don't have the power. See, those people say, oh, I'm waiting for the law of attraction. That book, why it's so popular, it misrepresents the truth. You think, oh, but how come those people aren't attracting it? Because attraction means you're attracted to it. And then you go get it. They're sitting waiting for somebody's going to save them. They're going to come in a spaceship and they're going to save my butt. Wait a minute. You're more powerful than they are. They want to be here. Why? Move on. It's mine.
I love what you're sharing for people who can hear these messages and the messages that you've shared throughout all the other 7 steps. This is a journey that you choose for yourself. This is an emancipation you choose inside yourself. It's a choice. It's a choice to get out of your mind. And I think there was something. I had some exchanges with people I can remember very distinctly in the last year or two. Again, coming through COVID, where we were, talking and connecting a little bit more. And I was saying, like, I'm kind of in awe. You'd say, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm good. How are you doing?" And when you're sharing that, I was saying, I'm not thinking anymore. And at first, you might be alarmed. You might be alarmed that you're not thinking anymore. I'm like, I feel like something inside me is moving me, and I'm thinking less. And you know what? It's a practice to learn how to think
less. Well, because
less.
you don't need to think. Thinking always places doubt, because those are made of words, sounds, with meanings you have been forced to learn. I sold my soul in first grade for a Hershey bar and learned I said, okay, if I learn the alphabet and the numbers, they'll give me a Hershey bar. Okay. Because I remember standing at the schoolyard at 5 years old all by myself. I'm not going into, nobody's on the playground. Everybody went into the school. I held it out the last, I go, well, I guess I got to go in there.
Your soul knew the whole time, Terry. You knew.
Well,
you knew the.
You know what happened? I don't know if it happened, but I was in one of those little jumper things when I was about 6 months old. I jumped out of it and hit my pineal gland right on my forehead with the edge of the stove. I think it popped my third eye. I don't know.
I guess. Awakened souls may have to take matters into their own hands and jump themselves into activation, which is what you did.
You have to. Yeah, I did. So I jumped out and hit the thing. It's like, oh, my God. But, what we were looking at, and see, what it is about how we heal the male is by healing the female, you see, or how you heal the female is the male who's healed and whole. And that was the ancient Egyptian things before Akhenaten showed up, who was the cone head, who brought in one god like that instead of and the Egyptians were already in harmony. That's why they had to kick him out, basically, because he was causing so many disruptions, and they had him leave with his 300,000 people or whatever. It could have been, anyway. So to get him out of Egypt, because it was causing so much destruction and so much conflict. But anyway. The harmony, because we're a team, and we want collaboration. It's not male against female, female against male. It's not I'm this sex, you're that sex. Love is the only religion, and I'm a mother, and I align with all mothers and fathers for our children, for our grandchildren. For our loved ones, for the animals, the divine sweet souls that are here that I align with, good. And what it is, so appreciating the earth and really the very basics of this, and you have to look at how you then also bring out your riches within yourself, your talents, your abilities, how you're going to help people. People are going through stuff now, folks, and so. What is it that you can contribute through your products, your services? And that's my work as a mentor, and also Marie's work as a mentor, because we've attained these things. And for us to actually take all of our powers back right where we are. I don't have to go anywhere else, but I do that work with myself and my teacher and my books and on my bed. I've got half my bed's my books. These go with me. Wherever I go, they're mine. Yes. And yes, because this is your life, people. You can be as happy or as miserable as you choose. And you can have every excuse and every reason because they did it and they did. Well, go for it, and that'll be your world. Is that worth it when you can have it all? And it's in your seed. It's who you are, baby.
It is who we are, right? It is.
Yes.
It's in our very fiber. It's in our essence. It's through and through. But the thing that this world does is it's so good at distractions. That's why the person on the spiritual journey questing for truth, they have to have some discipline. And you talk about
absolutely.
Discipline and persistence. You have to persist. which is continuing on, right? We keep on.
Don't give up. See, people give up like, oh, I'll die to get it. You can't die. When you finally get that, you are life itself. That's all. You are life. And then when we talked about this, I think it was my third book, or whatever, Love and Power in a World Without Limits, A Woman's Guide to the Goddess Within. And that's acknowledging the feminine, the womanly, the feminine, the mother, the nurturer, the creativity. When you realize, like, every woman is really the goddess of fortune, because a little girl was, and every man, he's a representative of God. Maybe a lot of teachings, they say you surrender to the man, or the man only if they're worthwhile. Well, you're going to surrender some yo-yo? You out of your mind.
Yes.
They
eliminated those words. Only if they're worthwhile. Only.
That's right. Even if it's somebody you work with, it's not your mate. It's you have to understand how their mind works and what they're going. And when you take a look at, you get this study. Like I'm building this foundation course. We're having now with the mind, how it works, how to get control of it. Because until you get control of it, it's controlling you, and you cannot get to the soul because you can't hear the soul because the mind overpowers and talks you out of it right away.
It's so much louder. The voice of the soul and the essence is subtle. It's gentle.
Yes, very gentle.
Slow. It's not going to clock you over the head with the answer. It's going to quietly, patiently, always be there for you. But if you let your mind be so loud and the volume is so high all the time, you'll miss it. You won't hear it.
We miss it. We won't hear it because if we're so busy defending our belief system, if we're so busy our politics. I don't do politics. I don't vote. I don't care, people. You can think, I don't care what you think of me. I'm following my inner guide. And I am teaching a specific teaching there is no argument about because it's classic. It's ancient, and you can test it immediately. You don't wait to die to get the pie in the sky in the sweet by and by, as my friend Reverend Ike used to say. He was great. He said, if you don't like money, then send it to me. I like it. He was the best. He was the best. He'd show up to my talks and sit in the balcony down in San Diego, and always, he'd always put a nice generous amount in the collection plate. He was
wow. Fabulous. What was his full name? What was his
Reverend Ike and Cotter. Ike and Cotter. Then he had a big church in New York City. Reverend Ike. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. But can people hear how playful we are? Can people hear how it's in our spirit? Do we feel scripted? Do you think that Terry and I wrote out, like, even though we have the 8-step in front of us, we're not like following it in order and say, okay, let's teach persistence and then let's teach this. No, we're showing you what it looks like to live a spiritual and earthly rich life.
That's right.
Right. We're being it.
Right
so
where you are right
it.
now. Don't say, oh, yeah, but when I get a better place. You're the better place because you take your world with you. It follows you. Like, well, I'm going to take a vacation to this desert island, and who gets off the plane with you is your problem.
You. Yes. So, Terry, I have to tell you where I said before about the suffering and like when will the suffering end? When you're ready, right?
When you're ready.
Right. And when I finally realized that I was ready, and as soon as I was ready and I surrendered, I knew what to do, and I took those steps, and I got out of the suffering. And I thought, okay, you know what? Immediately, just within a few months of like being in the darkest despair, I was out of that. And you know what? I had this download with my partner. I had this download of like, we're supposed to move to Hawaii. All of a sudden, from being in the darkest place. But let me tell you this. It's what you're saying. We had this whole vision of moving to Hawaii. It became possible that the universe opened up all those portals that she could have transferred with her job to Hawaii.
Yes.
That's right. When we were an inch, like we were just inches away from making that, like putting in for that job and fully getting hired. But you know what my guidance system said? Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are.
That's right.
And you haven't healed.
And everybody's got to be somewhere.
Right? Well, and they said though, all that you've just been through that you have not healed, we wanted to sell this house where it all had happened and get away from it. And my guidance and my guides were saying, no, you're going to bring all of that as companions. They're going to show up when you get off the plane in Hawaii, and you're just bringing it with you there. That's what I said, oh, wait, then if we're bringing this, I don't want to bring that all those many miles. That was a big journey to take all that stuff with me. And we canceled. She canceled her paperwork for that job. She had to back out of all of that. And it wasn't fun. I can tell people it was not fun to say no to Hawaii. No. And it was not fun to also stay where we were and make the committed choice to heal all the rooms and everything in the house where the traumas had been occurring. We healed what that was. We renovated this house. We cleaned the energy. We painted. We sang. We got an all-new energy. It was work.
Fabulous. But now I'm perfect. And it was play. It was work. But you turn it because we like to play. And people like to play knowing they don't know how to play in the divine. They got to have a thing in their hand playing a game that goes nowhere. Yes. Please. Yes. What are you doing?
And this is where the real movement is. That's where I got my spiritual locomotion back.
Yeah,
because then
very
I started
good.
That inner engine that created the change. And I wrote a book. Can I even remember? It's a book title. It's titled Cosmic Wealth, A Guide to Living the Prosperity of a Rich Inner Life. Okay?
I like that. That's a great title.
Right? It's a pretty good title.
Yeah.
And, I'm much younger then writing this book, but I was trying to share the gems of the journey of being in the darkest despair and finding riches and gems and freedom there. And
that's
this
so
is
good.
What you're teaching too. We've been both into those places of darkness, and we've gotten ourselves out again and again and again. And beyond money, beyond material things, my knowing of who I am inside, and that no matter what comes into my experience, I can transmute it and alchemize it and play my way into something else.
That's right. That's right. Because you have the magic. You see, and that's why women folk who are mother folk, and also whether you have children or not, you mother your job. I have students who didn't want to have children because they took care of their brothers and sisters and they were their children. Or you take care of your office, or you take care of your project that you're going to nurture. So mothering is nurturing. It can be fathering. It's like what's missing in people's lives is the basic things that are really bring the joy, which is like one of the things I used to love to go to Hawaii. In the morning, I could walk down the little road and pick up avocados on the ground and pick up papayas and mangoes and pick a bunch of, the trees drop them for you to have.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what the earth, she gives. She gives. Like spades. She gives like so much to us. And I was looking at something.
The evil ones, you would call them, the perversion. They're making everything already digital. Digital food, digital this, digital, it's not real. It's all because it doesn't have another platform. Because we're the feeling, we're the life. It just exhibits as a digital on a screen. And our own consciousness. Yes, what? Go ahead.
Well, I even feel like in the duality, it's like you can take anything. You can take a hammer, and a hammer can be evil. It can kill.
Absolutely.
But it can also build. And I think this digital world, I think there's a world that's emerging that some of this new technology will liberate us if we do it consciously. That may not be in your worldview, but for me, I see that there's
it can be, but we have to look at also words that we're following, and when we really get into what this world is about, because you have thoughts. These thoughts are going, as soon as you say, I'm going to do something, your mind is going to say, it's not a good idea. That's why don't be sharing what you're doing with other people out there who aren't really in your favor. They'll send a curse on you right away because they have they have the programming of scarcity. And the problem with abundance, the abundance, is sometimes people want to waste because there's so much. They don't know how to appreciate the abundance and only have what you need. Just like I've changed my eating things, and so I do almost all, steamed. It's so wonderful, and sometimes just eat one thing at the meal. It could be just broccoli, or you could just feel like it just wanted some rice and butter, or something like that. Yes. Because they were told us you have to eat all this food to have energy, but it's not the food that's giving me energy. It's the life force that I am. See why the mind is so powerful? Because you're the one behind it. You're the one. It's you. And if people can't quite grasp that, there's always something out there. But not to puff yourself up, but you can't help but be a manifester of your consciousness. If you don't like it, change your consciousness.
Right. And I love how you say that, Terry. Number one, if you don't like it, change your consciousness and you will have a new experience. Mm-hmm. And also what we're looking so desperately for, however that looks in people's lives, whether they're working themselves to death or they're worrying themselves to death or they're just stressed out on all and they're distracting themselves. We are seeking what we already are. That's when hear it. Well, just like they said to me, like people can hear this call and they might be saying, yeah, I might ask that question. When will my suffering end?
That's right.
And your own higher guidance.
Ask your question.
Yes. Right. Ask. And that goes back to step number 1 of the 8 steps you have to ask. It was a good question. When will the suffering end? And when can I get to the earthly riches that these people are talking about?
That's right.
You go on this journey to realize that it was you the whole time.
That's right.
That's why the answer is when you are ready. It's you.
That's right.
It's you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So make yourself ready. You begin to contemplate and give up envy. Envy also you can use to show you what you would really like to be doing. Like I had these women that I thought were my friends when my television program was really big. Oh boy, they started criticizing me big time because they wanted television programs themselves. That's all. And when I left San Diego, all the people in my ministry, anyone that I had trained who were envious of me, I gave them it all to them. Here, take it. It's yours. I'm out. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I've done that. Here, take it. It's yours. I'm out. I've done that. I think, a soul that keeps growing, we grow beyond resonance with people needing us and whatever that might be. And there's something also very liberating when you say, okay, I give it to you, right?
I do,
and we're ready for the next chapter to have a blank
canvas
again, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so
and
good.
And we're going to think about, so when we look at I suggest people maybe get that book, Love and Power in a World Without Limits. It's a used book. It's only about $3. Maybe it costs you a little bit in, and then start to look at how you out there who wants to help other people and you love that, start setting up little study groups at your home. And then you can study, you listen to Marie and you work that and you get everybody, and then you have a little discussion. And then start supporting each other and go to the river where you could start sharing without competition and jealousy. Ending that. That is not true about us. When you're self-realized, if somebody wants what you've got, first of all, they can never get it because you have it, God gave it to you. But in the sense of, here, you can have it too, you don't feel it's taking from you. It's like if you light another candle with your candle, it doesn't diminish the light. I could light a whole bunch of candles. They all burn just as bright.
That is so beautiful, Terry. That is so beautiful. And people want to light their candle, or they want to remember that it's already lit. They want to remember that it's still lit.
That's right.
You just
let
have
it
to
burn
go.
brightly. Yes, you honor your spirit self. Honor those feelings. See, you look back at all the time. You know, a lot of them have been raped at different times or different horrible things. But take a look at somewhere you opened yourself to that in some way. Something told you not to, or didn't, or you got it, or it was naivete. When my daughter, sweet darling, got in with she's gone now, but a bad thing. And I said, honey, why did you let them do it? She said, I thought they liked me. Well, it broke my heart that my baby would think that. We gave her all the love we could, but you know, if you can give somebody all the love you can and tell her how beautiful and wonderful you are all the time, but if they don't get it, she was looking to get it from her dad, and he would never give it.
Wow. And what a
First
lesson.
off, oh my God. Yeah, my baby.
And this, what you're saying too is that it is your baby, and all mothers feel that pain whenever we see, hey, I have deer in my backyard, and they've raised all their babies in my yard over the years. I've been close to them. They're my deer family. Literally, I feel
yes.
And I think I might have mentioned this, but she birthed two babies, two fawns, and this year, and one was an albino, truly, with translucent eyes, and what a gift. She's so precious. And the other one was a little brown fawn. And I was able to get a couple of videos of them in my backyard, and then a couple more, and they both disappeared. They just disappeared, and I don't know if somebody did something terrible to them, or
sometimes.
Right, but you know what I'm speaking to is that you're talking about the wound of the mother, and for weeks after, I was projecting my grief onto her, but I felt she was like, just kind of like, what is that? Not a zombie, but just kind of walking through the woods with dazed, like in grief. I saw her in grief, and I felt her, and I would specifically go out, and she came a little bit less in those weeks of time. She was getting the great mother, I think, I feel myself getting really animated, but what's amazing is these deer, they are great mothers. The dads come and do the seed, plant the seed in the garden, and the moms are the ones that raise the babies. Through the whole spring and summer and fall, they're raising those babies. Well, she lost her job for a while. Like not that deer have identity, but she knows she's supposed to be nurturing. And
they all do. Everybody has intelligence. They know. Now I know my cat. Now I just can talk in a sentence and tell her something. She knows exactly what I'm doing.
They are smart. And I'll just finish this story about the deer, because some people can relate. A lot of people are who are allowing themselves to be feelers again. I felt her and she felt me, and every day when if she could have cried, I would. She absolutely could have had tears down her face. And I told her every day I loved her and how much I loved her, and that she was going to be okay, and she was going to have more babies, and she'd had many babies before, and she can love the ones that just became another form if they did. And and you know what? In a matter of
she understood.
She found her way into the other deer family that also especially comes through my yard. And they formed a little herd, and she's in a very different role right now than what she would be if she had babies. The babies in that family give her a unit, and she had a different frequency then. But without the babies, she's become the auntie to the other babies of the mother. And
you know what? Wow,
she's back.
That's so awesome. She's back.
She's back.
In the wild, animals are different, because here the turkey dad is with the turkey mom and the babies. They go together. And like in wild horses, the males will take care of the babies as well, their own. But like with cows, they never know their father. There's certain ones, like birds, certain birds, the mother and the father will take turns and take care of the babies. It's
Right.
very, very, yes, yes, yes. Watching these, they don't all act the same way, but they have that. And in
But
India, I had this
they're
lot.
family.
Yes, their family. I had the lot next door, and all that got stolen from me over there. But anyway, this mother dog had made herself a little cave out in the empty lot, and had her babies in the back of the cave, and would stay at the front of the cave to protect them. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. She dug her own cave of dogs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. It is extraordinary. This is through and through your messages. Like, even if people say, oh, I don't have time to spend time with deer and get out with nature, you do. You have 5 minutes a day, and even if you're in the city, there's somewhere where there's a tree. And you go put yourself. Your divine essence, your spark, doesn't have a watch, and it says, "Oh, you only put in 30 minutes today. You didn't get it. You didn't get." No, 5 minutes. Just a 1 minute of consciousness is a lifetime of awareness. Right? Yes. Powerful.
Beautiful.
And
powerful.
And there are teachers. Powerful. Your kitty is your teacher, and you have nature, like you said. You have bears out there. You got a lot of nature too. And
but I have advanced a little, because now I have the spray bottle. Because sometimes she wants me to play, so she's going to jump and attack me, the body over here, so that has evened up the playing field. We're doing a lot better over here now. We're a lot better off now over here. Playing field. Yeah, we're even now. She'll look at the bottle and she'll go, I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to go sit over here. Good idea.
Right? I mean, she has claws and teeth, and you have water.
Yes.
And
but we got the precious water.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, this is so beautiful, Terry. We're talking about the energy of mothering. We're talking about the energy of creating. Talking about life
and getting together and getting back with your woman friends, not to male bash, not to gossip, but to begin to really be able to comfort, to share, to think, what do you need? How can I help you with that? What are you going through? Not that it's just, my friend Denise, when I was living in Shasta, boy, was she, what a pal. I could dump, I could do stuff that I can't do other. I could share stuff and deal with stuff and just work through, because I had a friend that she got what I was talking about. She's smart. She was open. I could be who I am. And I even did that years ago when I first started being a public speaker, and I would be afraid. So I'd always be nervous. And it's because I wanted something from the audience instead of be there to give. That's what always happens when you want to get something. And so I started to look, when people always say, well, be yourself. Well, I didn't know what be yourself meant, but I could remember sitting with my friend Joanne at lunch this one day, and she was my woman friend, and we both had children, and she did children's theater, and I would volunteer. It was wonderful. But anyway, so as I was there, I realized, as I'm talking with Joanne, I'm me. So then I started doing talks where everybody in the audience was Joanne.
Wow.
And then I was myself. I got what that was like. Yeah.
Is that what you did? You would have Joanne join you, and you would have a conversation, and you would get up in front of other people?
No, every person in the audience would become Joanne to me.
Oh.
They were these were all Joanne out there.
Right.
And I was just there to share with her and be who I am. Yeah, absolutely. So I got. See, if you don't get the feeling, it's all about suggestion, and it's all about a feeling. We're feeling beings, and the thing they never talk about is feelings. That Spanish song, I want to change the words, but it's dime solamente dime, trying to forget. Da, 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 da. I love that song, but the words are crappy, so I can't sing it because I'm not singing myself into hell. I'm sorry. If you like it, go for it. It's not mine.
Right.
That's right.
Right. You're not going to create that. You're not going to give it form. But that's so powerful, because when you have found yourself and could see Joanne's in the faces and the hearts of everybody in front of you, you were your authentic self, and you weren't your ego that was worrying or afraid or scared or whatever.
That they're not going to like me. I didn't. Yeah, and Joanne likes me. And then I started just loving people. And then you're there to present knowledge and information. If they want it, fine. If they don't, fine. There's no argument about it. This is what I teach, and this is what it is. And if they don't like it, they go somewhere else. It's okay.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
right. But we have to give. That's our nature. We must give and receive. You see?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, both. Right?
Because you have to have something to give. So you have to let yourself receive. And when you have your boundaries, it teaches others to respect. When we don't, they have no respect, especially our children. Like I was talking to this one of my friends at the co-op, and she's also teaching at a little school here, and there was a third grader that she told her she was a bitch. I mean, like, it was muttering words. She's only in third grade. Well, because they hear this. This is going on at there. This is how parents are talking to each other, and how they talk about other people. And they use the F word and the MF. That's a mother effer. That's your mother? You talk that way?
Wow.
Oh, and women talk that way. Really?
Wow. People don't, I mean, you have really drawn our attention to the words, and how words can incarcerate and wound and be destructive, and they can also be beautiful, like you said.
That's right.
You love the words of the song, so you changed it.
Change it.
This is so powerful in people's journeys to this, to seeking the spiritual and earthly riches of which we speak. But you do have to start to awaken to the fact that how have we been manipulated and conditioned, and it is through words. It's through the word. And you've done such a good job.
That's why you were taught spelling. We were taught spelling in kindergarten, spell casting. You have to be able to have the letters and the numbers, and numbers, N-U-M-B, that means numb. They're numbers. That's why everybody's numb from numbers, money numbers, this number, that number. How many people are here? There's numbers of people. Yeah, stop.
Well, sometime I'd love to learn like some core words of Sanskrit in a podcast, or just chatting with you, Terry.
Yeah.
We have to get back to where every sound and syllable we make has meaning, and the kind of meaning we want to create. Otherwise, we have this borrowed language that comes from this, at times fairly toxic world. And that third grader who spoke that way, that's what she's being given. That's what she's been shown. That's what even TV shows in her device.
Very
she probably
bad.
has a cell phone, right?
That's right. And you look at how many children, babies, sitting with their parents watching TV. How many murders and violent acts did they watch that their parents don't even think they're aware enough? And when that's when they receive their greatest amount of information.
Yeah. Well, talk about that mothering in this day and age. Again, like with my kids, I turned the TV off at one point. I cut the cable, and we only watched the shows that I wanted the kids seeing. That was a feel-good movie, had lessons in it. And to this day, my kids still are pretty traumatized by that decision I made, because they felt like they were kept from all the stuff that their peers were watching. And there's a time for that, but not when you're 5, And that's a whole other topic, but there's a lot of movies, especially in cartoons. I can think of Disney where the mother always dies. Bambi.
Always.
Right?
Always. I couldn't watch Bambi. That's right. They always die. Plus that terrible movie Parent Trap. Then you think your parents are going to get back together even when one of them is a serial killer or something. It's really stupid. Then they're always they're patterning themselves after movies and plays. Just if you think of all the language we talk, almost every saying comes from a movie. It's all predictive programming. Everything going on out there in the world was already a movie. It was in a book because it's happened before, over and over and over again. This is a repetitive system.
Well, then that's why my songs that are going to find their way into this musical that I'm creating. And Terry, I'll have you come join us for some performance, and you'll go up and sing with me on stage somewhere.
Oh,
because
that'd be
those
great.
They're soul songs. They're songs for the soul, right?
That's
They're
right.
not
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
there's
soul, remember, is also another, SOL is another name for the sun. And it's the sun, and then it's sung. Evan uses all these words. They're all there. It's a kick.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. We're gonna keep inviting people to listen. I don't know if people heard what you just said, but the soul is the sun, and then you sing the sun as sung, SUNG, right? The word sun is in there.
I get it. It takes all these forms, but the subconscious picks it all. I'm going to send you the book. I didn't send you the book, Deprogramming the Matrix, did I? It's by Arno Pinar. It's really good. I'll send it.
You might. Please send it again if you haven't. Please
I'll
send
it.
You,
I think you would have noticed. Yes. Okay, I will. I'll do that. I'll say, okay.
Please do that. Well, this is fabulous. Well, thank you. I want to thank you. I'm just going to I'm going to state all this, each step one more time, because this is where people have spent this time, and we're going to keep going. This isn't the end. Right. This is a new beginning. We've got more to share. But
because the baby birth today, this whole idea we've been working on really for this is 9 months since we started. Well, that's what it takes to have a baby. So the baby took birth today on September 1st.
On September 1st, right? We birthed.
That's right. We birthed this project. That's right.
This project, right? And so in those 9 months, your steps were, number 1 was the ask. Number 2 is appreciating what you already have. Number 3 is being willing to have what you ask for. 4 is making a prosperity action plan. 5 is making prospering choices. 6 is building prosperity consciousness. 7 was relentless enthusiasm. And 8 is absorbing yourself in spiritual, earthly practices. And we seed planted as mothers in you this awareness that you nurture you choose you make the choice to go on this journey with yourself. And of course, it's more powerful when you're at the river with other women and soul sharing in that way.
That's right, sharing and helping. Yeah. Even a good recipe. Oh my gosh. And how to heal. How you can make up medicine and all the things. Old wives' tales didn't mean it didn't work. The old wives didn't die young, so they must have known something.
Right. They shared at the river, right? They shared at the river.
They shared at the river.
That's where we go to share. People can even, I'm already starting to go to the river in my consciousness and picturing the women there with me. I'm going to feel it.
That's right.
I'm going to see us there.
That's right.
Sharing the recipes, talking about parenting things, being, there's a term that Lynn McTaggart uses, deep truth telling. We need to do some deep truth telling, to stay at the river with our soul sisters, our goddess sisters, and for men, they need to have sharing sessions like this too.
Well, of course. Well, they should. This little coffee shop at Shasta. It was so great. The senior men gathered, and I would hear them. My daughter. I was like, good for them. Oh God, they need this. They need to, that Warren Farrell does a lot of work with men and boys and good stuff. Warren Farrell. And it's really important for men because you see, why are football games and all these people gather? Our natural need is to gather and celebrate and talk story and empower each other and whatever it may be in a very nurturing way. Like even in India, sometimes we build a little fire right on the, right in the yard out in the dirt. And then the people come along, squat down and talk story, hang out with the neighbors. Oh my God. See, you get like in Beverly Hills, I used to drive, nobody goes out in their lawn and has a picnic and talks to their neighbors. Oh, no. We go in our house, close the door, man. This is it, But it's like when I was a kid was when TV first started. Before TV, we were on the street all the time with the neighbors and the friends and the playing. As soon as this happened, we went inside and would watch the test pattern for hours. It changed our whole lives. Yeah. Now you got to take your life back.
Right? And when you take your life back, it's good to go inside into the spirit, but we went into our houses when boxes and gas. And we need to go back outside in nature, at least for a portion of the day.
Yes.
It's not
that's right.
hard. You just have to let yourself have it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, and yes.
in.
Take that little walk around the block and say hi to your neighbors. Hey, how you doing? What's happening? But I love your work, Marie. Thank you so much, and everybody listening. You're the best. Just know we're here. This is great. You got to work it though, and when you work it, the dividends are far beyond what anybody could put away. That is material things that rot. What you learn and you have never rot, and you take it with you, and you get stronger and stronger and stronger and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, my dear, because it's who you are.
It is. Oh, that's so beautiful. And that those dividends are, as you said before, they are inconceivable. Those riches are inconceivable.
Inconceivable. I know. There's no way to explain to anybody.
No.
Only those who know. And when you get it, you know. Oh, you go, yep, I got it. Okay, more. We want more of that. That's where you put your more. I don't need more stuff. I just need more God.
That's good. That's so good. Well, we will be back again, and we will be talking about that book and the messages you share in the love and power.
We'll meet at the river. We'll be at this is why we call it. We're going to gather it. We're going to meet at the river. We're going to gather at the river. We're going to share. We're going to talk. Yeah, and these qualities of bringing forth who we really are.
Yes.
Why not? We've been I made myself into Terry Cole Whittaker because I knew what I wanted, so I'd find other people who did what I wanted. You can do that, and you do what they did. That's all. That's easy.
Right.
But divine has to want that. You have to have the consciousness.
Yeah.
And you have to have the good credits, not the credits they want to give you from blah, blah, blah out in the world. But the more you do good deeds, the more you build your spiritual strength because you don't have envy. You're actually willing for other people to be happy. Some people, they enjoy the misery of others. These are not people you want to be around, ever. No.
And that's an invitation for people to notice who in your life makes elevates your mood, who in your life elevates your feelings, and who brings you down. And when you pay attention to that, you know if the people you're hanging around are meant for you or if you're just in a pattern. If you're just in a pattern, you change the pattern. Right?
That's right.
Change the
pattern. Because we are creatures of habit. It's like singing or anything. It's golf. I mean, tennis. You can learn from a book, but that's not anything. You have to get it from a teacher who's already realized it. There's so many more things involved than anything you're going to get in print. That's just a starting place. Yes. But so get with the best who have attained everything you want because they're going to show you how to do it yourself. That's just the way it is. Because they want you to have it. They love you. Come on. Yeah.
That's right. Because they're tapped in. What is it? I think Abraham said tapped in, turned on, or something like that. But that's it. We're activated in what that frequency is. So it's more than the words that they will ever give you. It's what you said with your teacher. Yeah, you hung out with him in the cows, and you learned how he moved, he thought, how he felt. You felt it to learn it.
Yes, and his teaching. I'd sit there. Sometimes there'd only be 2 or 3 of us. Sometimes maybe more, but because this is not going to fill stadiums with people. I wish it would, this knowledge, because they'd much rather go to a game and say it's my team when it's not your team at all. You're just giving them your money so you can watch the guy run back and forth on the field. Okay.
Right.
And then he gets to be a hero because he could carry the ball. Really? How do you carry your life?
Wow.
Wow. But it shows the tendency. It shows the tendency, though. We want that. We need that. We need the bazaar. We need the coming together. We need the going to the river. The men need to get out there and do that. Support each other. All of us, and come family. I think seminars called Family Power would be fabulous.
Fabulous, Terry. Fabulous. Yeah, people need to have just be around the consciousness that you have to remember that they have that sense of family inside them, but they've just forgotten. They've just forgotten.
They've
just
forgotten.
Somebody needs to turn on the light switch again. Yeah, they just need to turn on the
Give
light.
them the suggestion. Just give the suggestions, and those who like it, they go for it. If you don't like it, they won't. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
You know, that's right. That's right.
And we don't have to complicate it. That's what the mind wants to do. And if people
That's
can
right.
hear us, we are talking about very simple, attainable, choosable things
That's
in
right.
your life that you can make
Very
a shift
down
in the
to
next
earth.
hour. Very
That's
down
right.
to earth.
Right now,
Yeah.
right now, and then, but we have to give you there's steps to take because we know those steps. We've done those steps. It's a science, also. It really is, and you'll know where you are in it because it's a provable, workable system, and then. The proof is in the pudding, let's say. You know, you can't lick the outside of the honey jar to get what it tastes like. You have to lick it from the inside.
Right. That is so perfect. Terry, I love you. And I love that. And I love how you always find just the right imagery and feel and sense. It's the felt sense. Who can't feel and sense licking the inner jar of the honey? Right?
That's right.
Right?
That's where it's at.
We're ready for the next part.
Yes, we are.
Life. Yeah, well, thank you. We will be back again soon next month for another podcast, and we'll have new topics, new messages for people. And I hope that this has inspired people. And if you're catching the 8 steps, you can go back to any one of the earlier steps on my channel. You can find Terry, and you can. I'm going to put the links for your Substack and your
Substack,
website.
and join the Substack if you want to be able to get my stuff. There's a free thing, and pretty soon there will be a place where you can actually contribute financially, yes, or whatever form money's taking.
Yes, exactly. Right,
whatever form,
exactly. Well, beautiful. Well, we'll put all of that as much as we can in this video, and we'll share more next time. Thank you, Terry.
We got a lot. We got goodies. Thank you, Marie, for all you do. You're so wonderful. Yes.
And for the people listening to our podcast, we thank you for joining us, and we invite you to come to the river in your consciousness and know that we will physically gather at the river in sometime very soon. Right? So,
very good. Yeah. You can even, there's a lot of rivers you could gather by in your area too. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Love you, Terry. We'll talk soon.
I love you too, Marie. Big hug. Thank you, my darling. You're the best.